ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Daily Dimensions podcast. As always, I am your host, Smitty, back with another one. And I'm not going to lie to you, Monday snuck up on me. I woke up, I had a doctor's appointment, so I walked to my doctor. I love that I can walk to my doctor's office. So I walked down there, had my appointment, walked back. I'm eating breakfast. And I said, hold on now. I think it's Monday. I think I need to do an episode today. So here I am recording this episode, man. Monday sneak up on you. I feel like the older you get is the more time just be slipping from you. Every day start to feel the same. Monday feel like Tuesday. Tuesday feel like Wednesday. The only day that don't feel like every other day be a Friday. Friday be feeling good. I'll be excited for my Fridays. But every other day be feeling the same. And I'm like, So I'm very much a calendar man now. If it's not in my calendar, I'm going to forget it. And I need to start putting, you know what I'm saying, put that in the calendar so I don't forget that. Now, let's get straight into the episode, man. No housekeeping. I got my notes with me. I got the pen in hand. So, we finna have a conversation. Today's episode is titled Relationship Goals, the Danger of Idolized Love. Now, the reason I'm bringing up this episode, the reason we're talking about it is if you're like me and have access to the internet, you may have come across the what's her name? Kristy Scott. I think her Instagram name is Kristy Sarah, and her husband Desmond. They are content creator couple. They do a lot of relationship content, a couple other different pieces of content. They come across my timeline. I don't actually follow these individuals, but I've seen them enough to be like, oh, hey, I know them. Cool. But they have a large following, and recently it's come up that they filed for divorce. And with any major relationship content couple, it comes with a lot of your highs are very high and they're public, but your lows are very low and they're also public. And that's part of why, that's the main force but behind why we're having this episode. Because what came with that, what I saw a lot on the internet, and again, I don't follow these people, but their demise was so big that it found its way to my timeline. And now I feel involved in it in a way where I could care less really what was going on, but it's big enough that the internet said, Jordan, you need to see it too. So I saw it. And the way it kind of fell apart, like from an internet view, kind of bothered me. There was people in there saying like, oh yeah, I seen this coming from a mile. You start to see the real ugliness in the world, man. It was people who was like, man, I seen this coming from a mile away, and yeah, they never really looked right, or he didn't seem happy. Some people were like, yeah, I think he's gay, honestly, blah 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 blah. Then they were like, yeah, he was stepping out with people, and then someone was like, yeah, well, it's because they're Jehovah's Witnesses, and as a Jehovah's Witness, the only way out your marriage is infidelity, so he had to do it because he wanted to leave, but wanted to be right religiously, and so many different conversations. And let me know if y'all have heard similar stuff or seen that on the internet. And what concerns me with that is it's none of our business. At the end of the day, it's none of our business. And whether their relationship was successful or unsuccessful, it was positive or it was negative, good, bad, indifferent, it has nothing to do with us. And the fact that the outcome of somebody else's relationship who we don't know, have never met, have never held a conversation with, and truthfully shouldn't be holding that much space in our lives, impacts us in such a way that it becomes front page news. It becomes something that's blasted across the shade room. It becomes something that becomes a conversation piece and is somehow important to our daily scoop and our dialogue that we have, is disappointing. And it goes to show that we have come to a place, and it may not be you personally, at the very least, it's the media, idolizes relationships, especially online public relationships. And I think the world is in a tough place with relationship content. I think as cute as it is to see, right, and I'll follow some of them relationship pages. Let me not say some of them. I follow one of them. I follow Josh and Jenny because Josh and Jenny are funny. But even then, I don't sit there and look at it and be like, man, that's what I really want. And I think that's a lot of what media pushes. Not saying that they themselves push that, but media pushes it. I think that's part of how people receive it. I think people get so inundated with relationship content and relationship creators, and then relationship creators hook up with other relationship creators to create bigger relationship content, and then it further adds to people saying, yo, I want that because I want to be with my girl, and then my homeboy and his girl, and then we all do the trips together, and and it's like, man, let's dial it back a little bit. One, I don't think anything that is on the internet for public consumption should be something that you idolize. I don't think it should ever become something that you're like, yo, this is goals. This is relationship goals. This is couple goals. This is what I want my relationship to look like. I think the best thing you could ever do is model your relationship, one, after what godly relationships look like in the Bible. I'm always going to start there. We've done episodes on that in the past. If you just go in the search bar and type in relationships when you're searching through episodes, it'll pop up. Not going to go too big on that. But have a godly model of your relationship. But even with that, if it's okay to have relationship advice, it's okay to ask other people like, hey, how did you navigate this? How did you navigate that? But let it be someone who is tangible to you. Don't let it be, okay, I just saw this couple on the internet. I've never spoken to them. I've never asked them a real question in real life. They don't know me. I don't know them. But I think this is the blueprint of what I want with my relationship. When you say it out loud, it sounds stupid. I've never met you. I don't know you. I don't know the ins and outs of your relationship. I don't even know if you're actually happy, right? You could be absolutely miserable, but this content is what's paying your bills. So you got to produce it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You got to produce it, right? And at the end of the day, you may feel like you know these people. You may feel attached to these people, especially when you watch content creators long enough. And you're like, man, I was there when they just had 100,000 followers. Now they got 2.5 million. And it's like, man, I was really there and I seen the rise. And it's like you start to feel some sort of connection to these people. But at the end of the day, they don't know you and you don't know them. So as much as you may, love that they've come so far, cool. As much as you may, enjoy their content and find it entertaining, or there's pieces of it that you like, don't ever let that be the blueprint for your own relationship. Get advice from people that are really tangible. And I think sometimes these relationship creators, I think it's telling of a really big gap that we have. I think that there is at least from what I've been able to see, right? At least what's been in my life. I can't speak to everybody else's life, but growing up for me, there was a huge lack of successful relationships around me for me to be able to sit there and say, okay, I'm stepping into, life and I want to build a relationship for myself. I want to find a wife. I want to do this. I want to do that. Who can I model myself after? Who can I model this? Who can I go to for advice? Who can I ask questions to? Because you're told from a very young age, like, okay, think of the life that you want. Think of who also has that life. Try to emulate that life. You see it in sports a lot. Who's a favorite player that you like? How do they how do they play the game? Model your game after that person. And we get into real life. Okay, who has a relationship that is successful? How can I emulate that success? I got to model this after that. And there weren't many people like that in my life. I can't fill up the whole hand of people in my life that I've seen that way coming up. It might not get past 3 fingers, right? So when you start to see relationship content that looks really successful, it starts to fill that gap, because it may be the only version of a successful relationship that a lot of people have ever seen, is what they've seen on the internet. And it starts to do something for that void that exists within your heart, that didn't see a successful relationship, that may not have seen a hope in the future and may not have thought it ever to be possible. But then you see young people in your age range doing it and you're like, okay, I want that right there. But that right there comes with a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't know about, and most people aren't transparent enough to talk about. And they almost can't be that transparent to talk about it because it kills the brand. Right? The brand is the joy, the love, the happiness, the excitement, the trips, the funny videos, the kids, the cooking, the pranks, and all that stuff. That's the brand. So once we peel back the layers and we start showing you like, hey, I be crying at night, or hey, this relationship ain't really working the way you think it is, or bro, when we cut this camera off, we be arguing and we don't really like each other. We've been sleeping in different rooms. Right? You see the content and we wake up and and the camera's already set up. We be sleeping in different rooms. You don't know what's really going on with any of these relationship creators' lives. So the last thing we need to do is look at that and say, hey man, this is what I'm really looking for. This is what I really want. Understand at the end of the day, it's content. It's content. It's a peek into a fraction of what someone's day-to-day is. It's not the entirety of it, and it's not the full transparency of it. Take it for what it is. It's content on your phone, on the internet that you pay for. That's all that it is. It's content that gets them paid at the end of the day. I don't know how many people would continue to do that if it wasn't paying them. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people would expose themselves for free? Not many. So we got to be honest about that. Let me actually get into the notes too, because we talk about the danger of an idolized love. And I want to get into the definition of idolize, right? So to idolize means to admire, revere, or love greatly or excessively, right? And we get into revere as a deep respect or admiration. So the key word in a lot of that and all of that is excessively. I don't want you to hear this and be like, man, you know, Smitty's saying we can't ever turn on our phones and go watch relationship content. It's not what I'm saying. I watch it. I consume it. Some of it is funny. I like watching the funny ones because I be like, yo, I need a little laughter in my life, right? But it's the excess, right? There's balance here. It's okay to watch it. Watch what you watch. Consume what you consume. But once it becomes something that you have such a deep admiration for, like, man, I really want that. Once you catch your mind starting to ruminate on, like, man, if my life looked like that, and, you know, if only I could just find someone like that person. And now we're getting a little too deep into it. It's okay to like it, but once it gets to that excess, and it's a thin line, you don't even realize that it's in the excess. You don't even realize it's idolatry. But really take inventory of yourself and ask yourself, okay, what is the relationship you want for yourself? What does it look like? And am I trying to make it look like this, right? Like, line it up, compare it. Am I trying to make it look like this? Am I trying to make it look like a godly love? Is what I want based on what I've seen on the internet, or is it based off of something deeper and personal and what I really want for myself and something that I'm trying to build? Really ask yourself these difficult questions. Ask yourself the hard questions. It's okay to look within. I think some of the most important things that I like to tell people, especially young people that I work with, is like, you got to find out why you do the things you do. It's not enough that you be doing shit, right? But why do you do the shit that you do? Good or bad? If you're doing a bunch of good things, cool, but why do you do it? Is it people pleasing? You know what I'm saying? Is it codependency? Or are you looking for love in all the wrong places? It could be good, but it could be for the wrong reasons. We got to figure out why we do what we do. It could be the wrong things. Like, you out here wilding. Why are you wilding? Why can't you stop? What makes it so difficult to just step away from the negative things, from the things you know you shouldn't be doing? What makes it so difficult? So we really got to get into why do we do what we do, and why do we want what we want? And why is that relationship on the internet that we idolize, the Scotts with Kristy and Desmond, why is that what we're idolizing? And the dangerous thing about it too is it watching their relationship fall apart publicly also puts fear in a lot of people to ever be public about their relationships, right? And that's not something that should be the case, right? If you want to post your man, post them. You want to post your shorty, post them. You want to be happy and in love, be happy and in love. I'm not saying you got to go become a content creator, but if you happy, be happy. And if the relationship don't work out and y'all break up, you don't owe nobody an explanation. Now, these content creators, they get on here and give explanations. Desmond got up there and said, yeah, you know, I failed my family and I did this and I did that and I'm not proud of it and I'm ready to be a parent. And then she got up and gave it. You don't owe nobody no explanation. They got to do that because they got brands. Let's be real. They got to do that because they got brands. They got to cater to their audience. They got to secure the bag, protect the bag at all costs. That's their livelihood, right? But if you have a relationship where you post your significant other and whatever it may be, and it don't work out, move on. Are people going to ask questions? Yes, because at the end of the day, niggas be nosy. People be nosy. People be like, man, they deleted all them pictures. I wonder if they still with that person. And it crosses the mind, but Nobody's bold enough to ask you about it, so who cares? And if they are bold enough to ask you about it, they probably know you on a personal level and feel like they can. You probably already talked to them about it. But you can't be afraid to express love how you want to express love and be in love how you want to be in love, because you're afraid if it don't work out, oh man, I don't want people to see this and see that. And now your fear is just wrapped up in a claim of privacy. Oh, I just want to be private. I'm just looking to be private. Privacy is very important, but don't wrap up fear and put a bow on it and call it privacy. No, you're afraid. You're afraid of looking dumb. You're afraid of people being in your business. You're afraid of being talked about. You're afraid of a public failure. I'll be honest with you. It's okay to fail. I think, and this is digressing, but who cares? I think if you're afraid to fail, you never really tried anything in life, right? It's okay to fail. Failure is a part of the process. You look at anybody successful, anyone's successful. That one success you see that you're like, man, I like that. I want that. That's dope that they did that. Man, I wish I could do that. There is 1,000 failures behind that thing. I've talked to y'all on here time and time again. I talked about it last episode. Behind every success is a bunch of failures. You got to get comfortable with failing. You got to be comfortable with it. And you don't got to answer to nobody for your failures. Everybody messes up. Players fuck up. It be like that. But you can't let that stop you, man. You can't wrap up fear and call it privacy. No, you're not being private. You're afraid to fail because you don't want to look bad. It's image control. It's damage control. At the end of it, you're not really private. You just don't want to fail and don't want nobody in your business. You don't got to answer to them no way. So I try to live a life that's a little bit more freeing now. People are going to talk about you regardless. If you're doing good, they're going to talk about you and they still going to hate. And if you're doing bad, they're going to talk about you and they still going to hate. So at the end of the day, do what the hell you want to do. Do what you want to do. As long as what you want to do is not idolizing these relationships. See how we brought that back? And one thing that will happen with relationships, and people will get on here and be like, oh man, I thought they were the one and they looked so good together. And then they get into that, well, that couldn't be me. And no, it could be you. It absolutely always could be you. So never think that it can't be you. But the thing where people be like, man, I thought they were the one. Why can't your relationship be the one? Why can't your love be the one? Why is it always someone else that has to be the one? And they're like, oh, we had so much hope for you and we thought you guys were the one and we thought y'all was going to make it and y'all look so good together. Da, 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 da. Why can't your love be the one? Why can't it be you? And I'm not going to expand on that too much, but really ask yourself, why is it always, oh, I thought you were the one. I thought y'all relationship was the one. Y'all gave us hope. But you don't need other people for that hope. You know what I'm saying? You don't need them for that hope, man. You have it. Everything you need, you have it. Tap into the resources around you. Grow, build a godly love. I'm going to reiterate that 1,000,000 times. Build a godly love. You don't need nobody else's relationship to be successful. You just need that one relationship. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But sitting there saying, oh, I thought y'all were the one. You could be the one. You could be the one if you really believe that. You could have the good relationship. You're worthy of good things, right? You're worthy of a godly love, of good love, of a positive relationship. You could be the first one in your family with a successful man. That could be you. Somebody else don't got to be the one. You could be the one. You should be the one. Start a new trend. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Be the one. Build your own foundation instead of copying others. And the last thing, I'll kind of leave it with this. And I say that, but I'm probably going to keep talking. Is relationships are difficult, right? There's nothing easy about a relationship. I think the easiest part of a relationship is probably getting into it. After that, challenging, because you're merging two very different lives together. Even if someone seems compatible, right? They're still different than you. And it's like we're taking these two very different things, even though some pieces may be similar and may gel easier. We're taking two and becoming one. There's nothing easy about that. And when the two become one, now we got to keep it as one. It's like when you mix oil and water and you stir it around, it looks mixed together. And then if you leave it alone and you don't tend to it, you don't do anything with it, it separates, right? And the oil will be on the top and the water will be on the bottom, or however that works. Water on top, oil on the bottom, however that works. But it only works when it's mixed together, and you got to constantly mix it together. Y'all ever had a bottle of Italian salad dressing and that oil separate from all the seasonings be at the bottom and all the oil be at the top? And every time, for it to be of any use to you, you got to shake it up. You got to stir it together. You got to keep it conjoined. It takes effort to keep it together. I'm out here talking about salad dressing and oil and water, but it all makes sense. It all makes sense. You're taking two very different things, bringing them together, and then trying to keep it together. That's challenging. That's difficult. That takes effort. It takes intentionality. It takes the right leadership around you, the right foundation. It takes patience and understanding. It takes forgiveness. It takes coming back to the drawing board sometimes. Sometimes maybe we need a little bit more of this and a little less of that, or a little less of this and a little more of that. But it's challenging, but so worth it when done right. And with all of that, you got to continue to work on yourself. It's one thing to pour everything you got into the relationship you have, but you should be pouring everything into the relationship you have with yourself as well, right? If you come into a situation and you remain the same person as when you first got there and never improved, that's not good. We have to continue to become better versions of ourselves. I say it all the time on this platform. You can't stay the same forever. The world around you is constantly changing, right? The price of gas today is not the price of gas tomorrow, and is not the price it was yesterday. Things are constantly changing. The cost of water, milk, eggs, housing, everything is changing around you. Why are you staying the same, right? The seasons change. Everything changes. Administration, our presidents change. Everything changes in life. Don't be the one thing that didn't. Don't be the one thing that didn't because you were too stubborn, or you just felt like things needed to be a certain way, or people need to change for you. You don't need to change for people. And I've been this way my whole life and ain't nothing wrong with me. It's them and da-da-da-da. No. Change is inevitable, and you need to stop fighting it. You need to stop fighting. And sometimes God is looking you square in the face saying we need to change. You're not going to get better this way. Your life ain't going to change this way. Everything you want ain't going to happen this way unless you change. We need something different, right? So you need growth. You need all of that. Don't be the one person that's not changing. You got to continue to work on yourself. I think that's one of the biggest keys to relationship. Is not just working on the relationship, but working on the two people in the relationship as individuals as well. Because sometimes that one person's insecurity will tear everything down, or that one person's unhealed trauma or whatever it may be may tear everything down. People got skeletons in a closet that get in relationships and they never take them skeletons out and then wonder why the foundation got cracks in it. So all of that stuff is important. And at the end of the day, the same way I said, which I don't remember which episode it was, but like any public internet figure, including myself, right? Don't idolize me either. Please don't. But like when we look at internet pastors, right? Or let me not say internet pastors with a strong internet presence, right? Because they real pastors. They just have strong internet presences. Don't idolize them, right? It can be a supplement to your life. It's not everything for your life. Don't, like, if you build your entire spiritual foundation off of internet resources, you're in a dangerous spot. If all the fitness advice you ever got only came from the internet, you never hooked up with a real trainer, dangerous spot. If all the information you get only come from ChatGPT and you never cracked open a book or read an article, you're in a dangerous spot. It's the same thing with relationships. If the only way you know how to build a relationship is from what you've seen on the internet, all right, you in a dangerous spot. So we gotta move away from the idolization of these relationships and step into what a godly relationship really is supposed to look like, and let God lead the way and get out of our own way, right? Nothing on the internet is real anyway at this point. nothing is as it seems, but what is as it seems is God loves you. I love you. And I appreciate y'all listening, man. So until next time, this is Daily Dimensions. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Daily Dimensions and also at Jordan Speaking. We hope to see y'all next time. Peace.